Marlon Brando changed acting forever, but he also shattered every rule in the book. Charismatic, chaotic, brilliant, and at times, explosive. But one moment on set stunned even those who thought they'd seen it all. It wasn't just an outburst, it was a full unraveling, caught on tape, buried for years, and finally resurfacing. What triggered it? Who was there? And why did it mark a turning point in Brando's already unpredictable career? Today, we're going inside the moment Hollywood tried to bury. This isn't just about temper. It's about pressure, power, and a man pushed too far. Let's unpack Marlon Brando's most shocking on-set meltdown, caught on tape. By the time the incident occurred, Brando was already a legend and a headache. He was hailed as a revolutionary talent, reinventing screen acting with raw emotion and realism. But he was also known for being difficult, ignoring direction, rewriting scripts, and showing up late, or not at all. Directors called him brilliant but maddening. Co-stars either adored or feared him. He didn't just act, he challenged authority. And when things didn't go his way, he let you know it. That combustible mix of talent and tension followed him onto every set, until one day it boiled over in a moment nobody expected. The blow-up happened during the filming of The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1996, a troubled production from day one. Brando had taken the role of the mad scientist mostly for the paycheck and had little interest in the script or the crew. The set was chaotic. The original director, Richard Stanley, was fired 3 days in. Weather delays, script rewrites, and clashing egos turned the shoot into a disaster. Brando showed up late, wore an earpiece to avoid learning lines, and insisted on bizarre creative choices. The atmosphere was toxic, and when the pressure hit its peak, Brando erupted right in front of the cameras. It happened during a tense scene. The director asked Brando to stick to the script. Brando, sitting in full white makeup and costume, refused. When pushed, he slammed his script onto the table and yelled, "This is garbage." Crew members froze. Cameras were rolling. Brando ripped off his microphone and shouted that no one on set knew what the hell they were doing. He stormed off, leaving the entire cast, and the new director, John Frankenheimer, in stunned silence. No one dared to stop him. And yes, it was caught on tape. The footage, buried for years, would later surface in behind-the-scenes documentaries as a glimpse into Brando's unraveling. People on set still talk about that moment like it happened yesterday. One crew member said it felt like a bomb went off. Extras stood in costume, too afraid to move. The assistant director reportedly cried in private. Frankenheimer, already exhausted, was heard saying, "I've worked with monsters, but never like this." Even Val Kilmer, no stranger to controversy himself, reportedly backed off. Brando's outburst halted production for hours. The vibe on set shifted from tense to traumatized, and yet, Brando returned the next day like nothing had happened. For him, it was just another scene in the strange movie of his life. Brando didn't snap out of nowhere. By the time of Dr. Moreau, he was grieving the recent suicide of his daughter, Cheyenne, and in a deep emotional spiral. He was known to use chaos as a shield, making outrageous demands or mocking the process to distract from his pain. He'd lost faith in Hollywood, in directors, even in himself. He was reportedly frustrated by the film's poor writing and erratic schedule. But more than anything, he was angry that no one seemed to care about the art anymore. That outburst wasn't just about a bad line. It was about a broken heart and a broken system. After the explosion, the studio did damage control. The footage was pulled from daily reels and labeled restricted. Only a few insiders had access. For years, it was whispered about but never seen. But when documentary crews later covered the chaos of Dr. Moreau, pieces of that day surfaced. Brando slamming papers, yelling off camera, storming past crew. It was messy, raw, and shocking, but also deeply human. You don't see a villain, you see a man unraveling in real time. That tape wasn't just behind-the-scenes drama. It was a window into what happens when genius turns into agony in front of the lens. When word of the meltdown spread, Hollywood reacted with a mix of fear and fascination. Directors whispered that Brando was finished. Agents warned clients to stay away. But others, they were obsessed. To some, it was proof of his passion, his refusal to compromise. Others saw it as evidence that he had finally gone too far. Still, no one could look away. Brando had always blurred the line between performance and reality. Now he'd shattered it. And even as producers swore they'd never work with him again, they still secretly wanted the chance. That's the power he held, even in chaos. Here's the truth. Brando didn't care if you liked him. He wanted you to feel him. And that meant sometimes breaking the rules or breaking down. His entire career was a paradox. He hated Hollywood, yet craved recognition. He mocked acting, yet mastered it. He destroyed relationships, yet longed for connection. The outburst on Dr. Moreau wasn't out of character. It was the character, a man at war with himself, playing the role of a god in a film about madness, while unraveling in real time. If you wanted polished, you didn't hire Brando. If you wanted truth, you braced for impact. After The Island of Dr. Moreau, Brando never led another major film. His performance was ridiculed. The movie bombed. Studios lost trust. Some called it a tragic end to a brilliant career, but Brando didn't see it that way. He'd always said he acted out of necessity, not love. He was done with being controlled. After The Outburst, he retreated even further from the spotlight, appearing only in small roles, voice work, or not at all. He had nothing left to prove. And for the first time in decades, he stopped pretending he cared. The legend walked away on his own terms. Years later, when that behind-the-scenes tape surfaced in a documentary, audiences were stunned. This wasn't the Brando from The Godfather or On the Waterfront. This was raw, broken, furious, but also strangely honest. You could hear the pain in his voice, see the disappointment in his eyes. It made people uncomfortable. And that's exactly what Brando had always done. The clip didn't ruin his image. It deepened it. It reminded us that genius doesn't always look graceful. Sometimes it looks like a man screaming for truth on a set that no longer believes in it. Val Kilmer, who clashed with Brando during filming, later described him as impossible but mesmerizing. Fairuza Balk said she was terrified and fascinated. Crew members admitted they were worn down, but still called him the most intense presence they'd ever witnessed. Even those who hated the chaos couldn't deny the brilliance. Brando had a way of making everyone around him feel like they were standing at the edge of something bigger. That outburst was destructive, yes, but it was also unforgettable. He didn't just walk through scenes, he scorched them, and everyone felt the heat. Brando never publicly apologized for that day. He never explained. He didn't need to. For him, acting wasn't about behaving, it was about revealing. And that day on set, he revealed everything. The grief, the disillusionment, the rage, the genius. Was it unprofessional? Maybe. But was it honest? Absolutely. That outburst wasn't a collapse, it was a statement. A final furious reminder that Marlon Brando didn't come to entertain. He came to confront, and he kept doing it, even when no one wanted to see it anymore. That's why the tape still matters. Because it caught the truth, unfiltered, unedited, unforgettable. Marlon Brando's outburst wasn't just a tantrum. It was a breaking point, a legend confronting a system that no longer matched his truth. And while Hollywood tried to bury the footage, the truth always finds a way out. If this story made you see Brando in a new light, or feel the power behind the myth, like, comment, and subscribe to Silver Screen Secrets. We're here to uncover the raw, the real, and the untold moments behind cinema's greatest icons. Because sometimes the most unforgettable scenes happen when the cameras aren't supposed to be rolling.